Emma, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me and my magazine star co-star. Hopefully she continues sleeping, but we'll see.
Well, absolutely. So, for our listeners that haven't read your January, February interview with us, when we photographed you for that, you were pregnant, and now you have a lovely little girl who's here with us today, keeping nice and quiet in the corner at the moment. And that's your second child. So, I guess the obvious question off the back of that is what's it like being a mum and juggling that with being a full time busy actuary? And I guess, what are the parallels in those two roles?
Sure. So, I mean, I love both, and it's brilliant that I'm able to be on maternity leave at the moment and focusing on the job that needs me the most right now. I think there are a number of parallels. I mean, I think both in respect of leadership and having a baby. There's plenty of books written on both of them. None of them, I think, can prepare you for the real thing. But I think the reality for both is that you can read all the theory, but you have to learn your own way of doing things and what's right for you. Um, in terms of differences, as an actuary, I'm constantly looking for patterns to apply logic. I think many parents would agree with me. That does not work with babies and children. Just because she slept for 5 hours one night, if I replicate everything, does not mean the same will happen again. So that's certainly a difference. But my problem solving skills are definitely getting a good test at the moment. It's amazing how resourceful you can be when you have a nappy disaster in a car park and you've forgotten the changing bag. So.
Well, congratulations, and we're really pleased to have her here with us as well. So, you're chief actuary at Lloyd's of London, the insurance market. It's a pretty unique organisation, Lloyd's of London. Tell us a little bit about your role and how it fits in an organisation like that.
Yeah, it's a really special role. Essentially, I have the same chief actuary responsibilities like a insurance or reinsurance company would have. So attending board meetings, writing actuarial function opinions, etc. But on top of that, I have the really unique lens of the market oversight piece. So not only looking at sort of Lloyd's as a whole, but responsible for overseeing and supporting the robustness of the reserve setting and the capital sufficiency for the whole market. So it really has a lot of diversity to it, which is one of the reasons in particular why I love it.
And what are some of the challenges around being chief actuary in an organisation like that? And I guess on the flip side of that, what do you enjoy the most?
There's so much to do. I think that's one of the main challenges. How do I get round meeting with all the diverse stakeholders of Lloyd's, of the 100 or so syndicates that we have? That's sort of the challenge for me, as well as getting the balance right between making sure that we're implementing an oversight framework that supports the syndicates at the same time as creates a fair landscape, and getting that right for the diversity of the syndicates that we have, having to come up with an approach that is flexible enough and suitable enough for all. That's definitely the challenge. The bit I love the most probably comes back to the diversity, and I love collaborating. So collaborating with the diverse stakeholders that we have. So be that from chief actuaries and underwriters in the market to the international regulators, to other sort of new entrants coming into the Lloyd's market, new capital propositions. That's the bit I love, is sort of the people side of that.
Yeah, and Lloyd's has this very long history and it's a very famous organisation. Does that impact the work that you do compared with being a chief actuary in other organisations, I guess? And how does Lloyd's stay modern and competitive in the marketplace?
Yeah, so Lloyd's is well known for its traditions and its roots, going back 337 years. But always we've been at the cutting edge of the business that's being underwritten. So very much supporting innovation. The other thing is in respect of how do we stay modern?
Mm.
It it's all about, we exist as Lloyd's as a unique proposition, as the preeminent marketplace for global risk, because of the access that we give, whether that's access to big risks that syndicates can take a share of that they wouldn't be able to take on fully themselves, or the global license network that we have that means that syndicates can access business more easily worldwide. It all comes down to, how do we facilitate and support the syndicates that are looking to write that innovative vision business, be cutting edge, and support that modernisation.
No, that's brilliant. You were made chief actuary at the age of 30, and you said in your interview with us in the magazine that there have been occasions where it's been suggested you were too young for the role or too young for leadership in in an organization. Does it surprise you that those attitudes still exist today?
I think there is progress being made, but it is disappointing that I think it is still a feature. It seems to be, particularly, I think, that women that face ageism, they can never be seen to be the right age to take on leadership
Mhm.
or promotion. So they're either too young, too close to parenthood, too old. And I think that does uniquely affect women more than men as well. So it's disappointing, but it, there is more support around, and I think it's about making sure that people, when they're looking to take on a new job, I think visibility is important.
Mhm.
So for people to see a role that they want to step into and not be thinking about, can I mimic the person that did it before me, that might not be too old or too young or too near parenthood, but can I do the job? And how am I going to do the job differently? So you're not thinking about taking on a new role as taking on the role holder's place. You're thinking about the new role as taking on a new opportunity,
Mhm.
because that change and that diversity is gonna be good for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess the follow-on question from that is, what can the profession, the actuarial profession, do to help improve diversity around those issues?
Yeah, I think we can start with promoting our profession more, and that's just broadly across all diversity. I am one definitely guilty of when someone asks me, "What do I do?" Say, "Oh, I work in insurance."
Mhm.
Leaving
Mhm.
it there, not taking the risk that someone's gonna be confused when I start explaining any further or not know what I do. But that's a missed opportunity.
Mhm.
Certainly, I think we need to be shouting about the profession so that we get more diverse sort of cohort interested in joining. And then the other piece is the visibility of what's there, because whilst there may not be the diversity right now that we want to see, showing that it exists, I think is key. So I was really excited when I saw that the cover shot that had been chosen for the Actuary magazine was one that showed off my pregnancy
Yeah,
bump rather than
yeah.
hide it away, to show that it is a feature. There are many brilliant women that I know that have worked pregnant, come back, have children, and we probably just don't talk about it enough as the possibility to blend whatever it is, whether it's caring responsibilities, parenthood, with having an actuarial career.
Yeah, it's a brilliant cover. It really showed that off. I thought it was fantastic. You also say in your interview with us that actuaries are going to be in more demand as we
Mhm.
go forward, and I understand why you say that. But can you share with our listeners a little bit why you think that?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, if I think about what an actuary does, it basically is so broad. It's help to make better business decisions. It's no longer and does not need to be more narrowly confined than that. So essentially, it's sort of how a management consultant would describe
Hmm.
what they do, but a critical internal partner, not always internal, but internal partner to that. So I think what we're well versed in is any decision. And the things that are our sweet spot are dealing with
Hmm.
uncertainty, dealing with ambiguity, problem solving. So if we think of the world today that's moving at a pace faster than ever before, more complexity
Hmm.
than ever before, and so much change in it, then we have those foundations and skill set to really lend towards those problems and support solving them, and solving them in a way that doesn't create further problems down the track as well, that forward thinking. And not only that, but the ability to communicate those solutions, why it's the right solution. I mean, with AI becoming more prominent, a brilliant tool, but if we rely on that for answers, actuaries are going to be great at being able to tell you whether those answers are the best answer and why they're the answer, and can they be relied upon as the answer. So I think it's the all-roundedness of the actuarial skill set that sets us up well for adding more and more value in today's world.
Yeah, and finally, one piece of advice that you give to other actuaries, but just starting out in their careers, what would you say?
Sure. I would say have faith that the hard work that you put in will be worth it. That might be exams, or that might be the day-to-day job. Don't expect that reward to come linearly, though,
Mhm.
and don't
Mhm.
expect to put the hard work in consistently. There'll be times in your career when you can dial up and dial down the blend between work, study, home, and that will pay off in different ways over time. And again, that may not all come at once, but have faith that hard work does set you up as best as it can to reap those rewards later on.
Yeah, that's a good message to end on. I have to thank you for your sharing all of your insights on your role, but of course, thank your daughter for sitting so patiently
Yeah.
through our discussion. Thanks so much, Emma.
Thank you, John.